Bonjour French 1. The purpose of this video is to introduce the French words for classroom objects that you'll need for section 1.2. The first thing I need you to recognize about your paper is that there are two parts to it. The left-hand side are all considered to be masculine words, and they all start with the indefinite article on, which means a, but you'll notice in a moment that there's a different word for a for the ones that are on the right-hand side of your paper, which are the feminine items and words in the French language. Now, some of these are really easy to understand as English speakers, how they could be masculine or feminine. A boy is obviously masculine, a girl is obviously feminine. A teacher could be a boy or a teacher could be a girl. The thing where we as English speakers have trouble is the idea that a desk is masculine, whereas a chair is feminine. And what makes a poster masculine but a window feminine? So here's the thing you need to realize. Basically, every noun in French, and this is a side note over here if you'd like to add it on your paper, all nouns, meaning all people, places, things, and ideas in French, have a gender assigned to them. And it has nothing to do with actually having the physical body parts of a male or a female, but instead they just kind of haphazardly assign things, a gender, to each item. And as new items are created, a new gender is assigned to them as the word is created. So every time there's a new word for a noun, again, a person, place, thing, or idea in French, that new word gets a gender assignment as well. And there's really no rhyme or reason to it, but you do have to memorize that, and that's something that's very different than English. So I like to separate your notes by putting all the masculine words on one side and the feminine words on the other, so you're kind of starting to keep them separate as your brain as being different items as well. But let's go ahead and go through these, and as always I will pause so that you can repeat after me. The word for a student, if that student is a boy, is un élève. The actual word for a boy is un garçon. The word for a teacher, who is also a boy or a male, is un professeur. The word for a desk is un bureau. The word for a CD is un CD. And a DVD is un DVD. The word for a CD player is un lecteur de CD. Literally, it means a reader of CDs. I know it's backwards, that's just how the French people roll. They think the way we do it is backwards. So I know it's a strange thing to get used to, but start getting used to it. DVD player follows that same pattern. It's un lecteur de DVD. A computer is un ordinateur. A poster is un poster. The blackboard, or in this case nowadays the whiteboard, or whatever board a teacher is writing on in class and is going to point out to you, is un tableau. A book is un livre. And a notebook is un cahier. So let's skip over to that feminine side. Again, you'll notice that all the feminine words start with a different indefinite article. It still means the word a. Un and une both mean a. Un élève is a student, une élève is a student. Un bureau is a desk, une chaise is a chair. But they distinguish between whether an item is masculine or feminine by using two different words for the word a. So anytime you see the word une in front of an item, it's cluing you in that not only does it mean a item, whatever it might be, but it also is telling you that that item is feminine. So these are the words that are considered to be feminine. Some of them make total sense. A feminine or a female student would be une élève. It's the same word for student either way, it's just got a different article in front of it. The word for a girl is une fille. And notice how the word for a female teacher is the same as a male, but the article is different. It's une professeur. The word for a chair is une chaise. The word for a map is une carte. The word for a window is une fenêtre. The word for a door is une porte. The word for a table, it's spelled the same but it sounds a little different, une table. Not to be confused by a board. Un tableau is a board, as in a whiteboard. Une table is a table. Be careful with that. TV or a television is une télévision. And the actual classroom itself is la salle de classe. The room of class, backwards again. Now, the only other thing I need to point out to you quickly is do make sure that you are marking down and paying attention to the accent marks. This E, for example, has a little accent mark that looks like a house. These little dashes or slashes that go above the letters do go in specific directions. So if you can't tell because maybe your screen's too small, the one that's over this E is going up and to the right, whereas the one that's over this E is going down and to the right. So do be aware of those. It happens on television again. That's an important part of the spelling. So as English speakers, we often dismiss those or don't pay attention, but that's a no-no. They do pay attention to those accent marks in the French spelling of words.